Welcome to Ars Libri, an everyman's journey through Western literature, where we explore the literary arts book by book, reading, retelling, and reclaiming our rich heritage. Thank you for subscribing. If you're enjoying this content, please tell your friends about Ars Libri and share some of the free episodes with them. This episode is not going to be for the normal crowd, especially the young. It's about dystopia. It's about all kinds of terrible things with sci-fi. And I'm going to put it on the paid-only episodes for that reason. I've been reading C.S. Lewis's space trilogy. I've been reading some other space sci-fi novels, such as H.G. Wells. H.G. Wells actually influenced C.S. Lewis's space trilogy. Pretty interesting. So I went back and read H.G. Wells' The Shape of Things to Come, The Time Machine, and War of the Worlds, other things like this. The Shape of Things to Come was written in 1933, and I want to talk about that particular book and some of the implications that come from the things that he was actually predicting in the book. Many things he predicted came about, or they almost came about, or they could come about in the future. And I want to think through some of those issues and also talk about some of the implications. So the overview of the book, The Shape of Things to Come by H.G. Wells, 1933. H.G. Wells was a noted atheist, an evolutionary leading thinker. He was a scientist. He wrote a book called Natural History, which basically showed the history of the entire world, completely apart from any religious or national, particularly national boundaries. So it's just a history of man naturally from the time when the Big Bang exploded and we were just some amoebas or whatever, and then we evolved into something else, and then we evolved into something else. He also wrote a book called The Time Machine, which is his idea of what will happen extremely far into the future, where basically evolution takes its course and we devolve, and the universe itself devolves. So it's a very naturalistic, atheistic, anthropology, evolutionary worldview. And the same happens in some of his political takes. However, some of it's actually accurate. It had happened. It played out pretty close to what he was saying. And I'm concerned that more of what he talked about in the book, The Shape of Things to Come, 1933, could still happen in the future. So sci-fi is very interesting because people are thinking about the future and what could be. A lot of times they're wrong, but sometimes they're close to being right. C.S. Lewis held H.G. Wells' works in esteem and actually wrote his space trilogy in response to H.G. Wells' own works. So an overview of The Shape of Things to Come. It's a sci-fi novel written as someone who is predicting or documenting the future. It spans the time from the early 1900s to the year 2106. And he actually made some accurate predictions. For instance, he predicted the war between Germany and Poland. He predicted global war. He predicted the collapse of regimes and the rebirth of new eras and new civilizations and new nations that actually overrode boundaries, long-standing boundaries. He also predicted the emergence of a managerial, science, rational, professional, intellectual-based elite, also a tech elite that would use technology and expertise and reason to override all things and govern and manage the whole world in a rational system. And that is clearly what has begun happening all over the world. Now there's resistance to it. They make some mistakes, and yet H.G. Wells predicted it, that it would happen. And he was right. Now, he also predicted coming utopia. We'll talk about the utopia. Lewis critiques the idea of a scientific elite ruling the future with imperialistic global designs. He predicts that actually it'll be a dystopia. And so I want to discuss the topic a little bit of utopia and dystopia. So the core narrative of The Shape of Things to Come in 1933, the core narrative is that after the collapse from this global war, there's an emergence of a technocratic utopia led by scientists, led by engineers, it's led by intellectuals, basically like a tech bro, managerial, professional class, globalist elite. That's not unlike what we see today actually happening. H.G. Wells predicted this, and you have these professional classes that have risen up all over the world. They're transnational, and they have no nation particularly in interest. Their goal is to restore a global order through an enlightened group of rationalists. And they want to institute a benevolent dictatorship, not a hammer and a fist and a black boot stomping on you like 1984, a benevolent dictatorship, something like we saw during COVID, where we're doing this for your best interest, for safety, for inclusion, for concern, for tolerance, for happiness, human flourishing, those sorts of words. They promote public education, universal public education, sanitation, centralized planning, science, and reason as their core agendas. They also want to dismantle national boundaries. This is in the book. After the war, there's a war in shape of things to come between Germany and Poland. It starts with Germany and Poland in the book. And they want to fight each other. And they do, it turns into a global world war when everything falls apart. And this was written in 1933, before Germany invaded Poland. So after the war, these tech people, these scientists, emerge with a plan to institute a global order, which they do, and they also dismantle national boundaries and all religions. They do it purposefully, not organically. They dismantle all kinds of boundaries, by the way. Boundaries of language, so now everybody speaks one language. Boundaries of culture, boundaries of family. They're going to do away with the natural family. Do you see? This sounds crazy, perhaps. Maybe it sounds old to you, like, oh yeah, I've heard this before. Back in 1933, not many people were saying this openly. H.G. Wells is basically fantasizing about what feminists would begin writing in the 1950s, 60s, and 70s. Destruction of the traditional family unit. They wanted to destroy also competitive economies, so the free market is gone. It's now going to be just a controlled market, centrally planned. They're going to destroy private property. So the state of the world is just going to own and control everything scientifically and rationally. Put it in a big AI supercomputer algorithm and let it go. And we're not going to have any room for human error or human greed, envy, human miscalculations and mistakes. They're going to replace everything with a communal system that's managed scientifically. In the book, H.G. Wells envisions in the future sleek cities, hypersonic travel, global language, the eradication of disease and scarcity. Everything is provided for in the future. It sounds wonderful, doesn't it? There are modern parallels to this that are already happening, like AI protocols that can filter mass amounts of data, mass surveillance, this nanny state, a borderless global culture. We have a lot of these things already in place. That's all for the free portion of this bonus episode. If you'd like to listen to the rest, you can do so by becoming a paid subscriber at arslibri.substack.com. You'll unlock all our bonus episodes, including the Plutarch series and the Literary Theory series. You'll also get extensive book lists and have the satisfaction of supporting the show.